10?
Yeah, around
Episode
10.
10?
Can't even count if we
Still
just...
no. There's a big X back there.
Are you going to
Remember
Photoshop an X in there?
Unlikely. Maybe.
It's one of those like chemical X's, like beautiful.
People think it's an ad for sponsored by.
Oh, no. Maybe don't put an X in there. It's like, erase the X. Erase it. Yeah. So the topic is not concrete.
I thought we were going to talk about concrete. Chapter 1. Sand.
I cannot do British accent, so I will never come through. There's a Peppa Pig reference for anyone who doesn't understand.
Who doesn't have children.
Who doesn't have children who did not watch Peppa Pig. We watched a lot of Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
I love Peppa Pig.
Though Ben and Holly.
Ben and Holly's better.
Is the best. It's really good. Even for adults.
Plus, you look like a wise old Delphi anyway. So... I'm sorry, I had to do another beer shot.
One shot
One shot
per episode until it gets shaved off.
I'll find something else to shoot at you with.
Do I act like wise old elf? Yes, you do. You think you know everything, but it turns out you know nothing.
Yes, actually. Right? Stubbornness is the epitome of wise old elf.
Wise old elf is very stubborn.
Yeah. Wait, am I like Nanny Plum? Am I very out there, crazy?
Yeah. You're Nanny Plum and I'm wise old elf.
Oh, wow.
They have a little tension between them, don't they?
Yeah, they have a very tense relationship. Is that what our relationship is? 40 years or 20 years of tension? I mean, a lot of people strive or thrive on that tension. And maybe strive too. Strive to have tension in order to have a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our tension is not purposeful.
No. It's accidental.
Well, it's idiotic.
Idiotic,
Due to blindness, personal blindness. I say that coming from me, like, right? Anytime I would insert tension, it's because it's just personal pain body. I already said it.
Take a shot.
Less than 2 minutes in, I already said it. Personal pain body just flowing out. Which is a great segue into the topic.
Yeah. Can you think of a time in recent history where there's been tension? Organically arrived there.
Yeah.
Were we anywhere in particular?
Yeah. So, right. I think, but life, your personal choices in life position you into organic flow of this personal pain body coming to the surface.
Right. It's just life will almost extract it in order to make it apparent that it's still there.
Yeah. Or where it is.
Yeah.
Not that it's still there. It's just where it is. And so I think I said this before, each one of those could be a session of clusterfuck or it could be a personal growth opportunity.
Right. Depending on how you
approach it.
Yeah.
How you overlook it. And so we recently traveled for fall break with our kiddos, which was like 10. Oh, wait, no, it's a week plus 2 days plus the weekends. What is that?
Yeah, we got 9 days off? Something like that. It was nice.
Yeah, we travel. Anytime there's a time off school, we try to travel. And so we went to Turkey for the first half of it, to Istanbul. And then flew over to Athens for the second half of it.
Right. A lot of history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think the trip, I will say this, like I say this about everything, but I feel the trip come to us. Like anytime we do anything like this big, it is kind of like this organic feeling. And I can't really define how it comes through. So like never, right, if you asked me a year ago, like, oh, when would you go to Turkey and when would you go to Greece, right? I would have never bunched them in on one trip.
Right.
Like that would have never been something that I would have came up with or even thought feasible but it kind of flowed out organically.
Yeah. And it's, yes,
was-
they're relatively close to each other, especially if you're going to bother to fly all the way over there in the first place. But the two cities are like, they work well together. It's not like Athens and then Ibiza or something.
Yeah. Or maybe it would work. I don't know. No, to us, it was an organic expression that I think generated an organic expression. Right. And so, like, right, you said this before, I try not to think of how things will be.
Yes, I would almost go out of my way to form an idea of what a trip was going to be and then proceed to kind of be disappointed is the wrong word, but reality is not whatever you think the trip's going to be. It's not. It's something different.
Yeah.
Maybe for better, maybe for worse, but I'm just like, I just want to go into it with, almost my eyes closed and go and land and go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might do some research if there's something, the things that you got to see or whatever, but I don't want to have a lot of preconceived notions about what it is.
Yeah. And in this case, especially in the trips lately, I've been trying not to do too much research. In fact, so now I just go on Google and I like read a couple of blog articles. By read a couple of blog articles, I go through the list of like three top sites on Google that list like, here's everything you need to see. And I go star that.
Yeah.
And then we basically kind of hit that. So like there's very little planning.
I guess planning wise. And we went to Mount Shasta in California over it was the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
we should do an episode on that.
Yeah. I did a lot of research into the history of it and the mythology around it and everything, but not in a way that it's going to like, I'm going to have some attachment to the outcome of the trip. That was more for research purposes.
Did you find that helpful?
Yeah. Well, I thought, and I still may make some video about it. That was kind of
have an episode on
it. Yeah, maybe.
I think it's worth having an episode on it.
Yeah. That's separate from the video I was going to make.
Yeah, but it might be worth it. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. One, I will say this. We travel with our children,
right?
And we travel in any way because we're constrained by the school schedule. So we're traveled in any available like time off of school. A lot of people are like, oh, you guys travel so much. We don't travel a lot. We just travel anytime there's time off. So to those people who know us, like it seems like we're always gone, but we're just gone only when the school allows us to.
Yeah.
But within that, like that creates its own, I say stress, but little stress bubble dynamic. Yeah, because the kids are off of school. They should be relaxing at home, but we want to explore the world, and so they are always bickering at us and get cranky.
So we'll lug them around with us.
Yeah, and we're lugging them around, and I'm hoping they'll appreciate this sooner or later. But currently, they're still like, nah.
I mean, they would be happy to at least have several days to just do nothing, play video games, watch TV. They would be probably happy with that.
Yeah, but realistically, over the summer, we gave them like 2 weeks of that before they traveled, and they got super bored.
Yeah.
Right. So they say that the idea behind doing nothing actually sounds better than it actually is.
Yeah.
But a day or two of that, and they're done, and they want something. So.
But at the same time, we go on a trip, and we'll in Istanbul. There's the hundreds of just the most beautiful mosques, and I could go into mosques all day and look at them, and I don't think
enjoyed it. They actually enjoyed it because we just got to sit and do nothing, and wanted to go into mosque because one, the energy in them is amazing, they're gorgeous, and then two, what I liked about it is you just go and sit on the floor.
Yeah,
which is like
I guess I don't.
And she just laid on the floor.
I don't think I'd been in a mosque. Well, we were in one in Cairo, weren't we? where we climbed up the tower.
Oh yeah, but it was
But
Cairo
we didn't
had a
really
different experience.
see that
Yeah,
mosque.
like in Cairo, we went into a public entrance, and then like they led us to like the touristy spot, which was the most illegal stairway possible.
Oh my gosh, it doesn't meet ocean
my
standards.
gosh. Yeah, nobody should have ever let.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was supposed to go up there. And the
guy knew that he could get extra money out of us.
The guy's like, hey, for 20 Egyptian pounds, head on up. And we're like,
it was like this tower. It was like one of those spiral towers.
Yeah.
The mosque towers.
Yeah, what is it? Minaret?
Yeah, I
don't
know.
know. Minaret?
And we like climbed up it, and it was not.
Yeah, it was like the highest point in not in the whole city, but for several blocks. And you could see all of Cairo. You could see the pyramids way over there.
It was crazy.
It was. I'm really glad we went up there.
Yeah, but it was like, think about it, safety.
Oh no, it was
we did a lot. We do a lot
unsafe.
of questionable things, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Afterward, we're like, that wasn't the best idea, but it's a great story.
Yeah. So I don't think most people who visit that mosque go up that tower.
I don't think so. We probably weren't technically allowed to go up there.
Yeah, but
But hey, for 20 Egyptian pounds, which is like $1 or $2.
Yeah, it was like that's what Egypt is anybody's trying to get money. Get you to do stuff in order to get money out of you. Yeah. And so wait, Turkey. Oh yeah, so the mosques were great. But the energy of Istanbul, it being a strait and then also a sea, right?
It's between two seas.
Yeah, between two seas.
It's a strait, and it straddles. The city almost feels divided into the European half and the Asian half. And we didn't actually set foot on the Asian half, but it almost feels like I don't know, maybe I'm projecting. It feels like, ooh, the European half's the place to be.
But the Asian half had all the villas there, though.
But there were also some on the European half going up. We just happened to be next to it, coming back on the return later.
No, I saw the villas on both halves, but
yeah,
but
I'm sure the waterfront property is the desirable.
Yeah, I didn't realize how like it's almost Italian, like Riviera, like.
Yeah,
except that this is Black Sea, or I say Black Sea, Strait,
Bosphorus
Strait. Yeah. Anyway, so energetically, I guess we started with Turkey, energy of Turkey, which was very
like not knowing anything about. I've never been to Turkey before, never been to Istanbul, but I was like, that I thought that was going to be a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more maybe not as clean. It was beautiful. It felt completely safe. The streets were clean. Everything was great. We happen to be vegetarian, so that was a little limiting.
No,
we ate the same stuff.
By limiting, I mean the vegetarian dishes seem to be greasy, and so I think it's not because we're vegetarian. I think it's because we do not consume greasy food. Because those dishes were delicious.
Oh, they were good.
Yeah, the vegetarian dishes were amazing. It's just they are made in a lot of heavy.
Very heavy, yeah.
But I think maybe all Turkish food is a little heavy. Like like baba ganoush and what's the
hummus?
Yeah, the hummus. They're very rich, oily, and I guess maybe we're too particular about the types of oils we use and how much oils we use.
And then we go to Athens, which I had expected to be like any other. Most European cities are very clean, very orderly, very, there's no graffiti.
There's some graffiti, but
in general,
But yeah, I'm okay with some graffiti.
When I say, world-class cities like, London, Paris, Rome, they're clean, feel safe. Athens was the opposite.
Mm-hmm. That was
it was
shock.
Not clean. There was graffiti everywhere. And there's like artistic mural graffiti, and then there's just whatever graffiti. That's what I'm talking about. There was just
I don't understand what
a lot of the buildings were either condemned or needed to be condemned.
No, granted, we are
boarded up.
staying in the old town.
That's true.
We stayed in the old town and we only explored the town. So we're only talking about that region.
That's true. Right around the Acropolis.
Yeah.
Basically, make a half-mile radius out from the Acropolis.
So
that was basically where we stayed.
Yeah. So very, very shocking to experience the city being the way it is.
Just dirty, a lot of trash on the street, a lot of urine, just, there against the walls.
Yeah, the weird part about it, standing water in, and this is going to be a weird thing to mention, I'm complaining about my world travels, but water within the old city bricks that are coming apart. And then when you step on the brick, it squirts.
Yeah.
Splatters.
The cobblestones.
The cobblestones squirt the standing water that smells.
Several times.
Yeah. And so I had that splattered on me several times. So yeah, it was just shocking. And we were not in a bad district. This is Acropolis still district. So, but it was very shocking.
But I think that might go on to the general energies of the two cities.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I think going to Turkey energetically set the tone on the energetic level for what happened in Greece. I think it was kind of the reason why that we booked those cities together like that, back to back, and then the reason why they energetically carry a specific, I'm going to get into esoteric here, frequency that propagated itself in amplification.
I mean, in as much as Istanbul felt really good and Athens did not feel as good, just the energy of the city, it just didn't feel welcoming. It didn't feel I don't know. I would go back to Istanbul. I would not go back to Athens.
Yeah, you were just...
I completely, without having put much thought into it, I would have expected the opposite.
Yeah. Well, with me, I wanted to go to Turkey. I've been called to go to Turkey for a long time. See, I knew he was going to be here. And all the times prior to recent history, there was some sort of unsafety feeling associated with it. And then this time, it was just that did not even enter into my mindset. That feeling of unsafety, that little a tribulation that you would feel in your stomach about the thought.
See, I had that for Israel, which was a different option over that trip.
Yeah, I priced out Israel, and then
it's good that we didn't go there,
right?
For this trip.
Yeah, depending on when somebody's listening to this, the Palestinian conflict started a week before we left.
Yeah, right before we left.
But we were considering Israel for this trip.
It was just on the news the entire trip.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we, and Turkey's right there, not too far from Israel and Gaza. And so, I don't know, but energetically it was extremely calm. It was a calm, grounding energy in the whole region. So I think Turkish energy just basically grounded us in at the most base level, but not in the densified way. And then when we flew over to Athens, the city has, at the time, I guess we did not know what it was. I will maybe should or should not say it, but we were kind of tired and on the edge. Whenever you spend a week traveling and the kids are like, I'm going to go home. We were already kind of on the edge.
Yeah. I guess it is what you make it, but oftentimes, and we're 7 time zones away, 7 hours off, which is hard.
On the kids especially.
On the kids especially going east, because it's like you just want to sleep in.
Yeah, well, I was fine though this time around.
Yeah,
Lately
but,
I've been really good with time changes.
But and then finding food is tricky. Finding food that everybody will be happy with is often a little tricky.
Yeah, because we have two vegetarians that don't eat greasy food, and we have two children that only eat like very specific type of everything.
Yeah, and you can't really trust the Google Map to find restaurants that A, exist, B, are open, C, sell the food that they, this menu was posted 4 years ago. Oh.
Yeah. And then, depending on the language difference.
Yeah. I don't think we met a single person that didn't speak English, though.
Yeah, we met some people, like when we got street food in Turkey, some people struggled.
Yeah, a lot of,
but we could figure it out.
Worst case, they just type into their
a lot of people use
calculator,
Google Translate.
Here's how many.
Oh yeah, but some people even use Google Translate. The people who begged us for money literally use Google Translate to beg for money. It's pretty advanced.
Yeah, the first taxi driver spoke enough English to rip us off, but couldn't explain the birds.
Oh, in Greece.
In Greece. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we got to Greece, it took us a long time to figure out what's wrong with the energy of the city. I say Greece, Athens. It's Athens.
Yeah.
It's just Athens.
Because we got out of the city at one point and it was great.
Yeah. And maybe I say Athens, but maybe even in particularly Acropolis Hill and the area around it. But I don't know. We never went to the rest of it. So for all I know, the rest of it is better. And so like the contrast between the stable energy of Istanbul and completely chaotic energy of Athens, not chaotic in the sense that the city is chaotic, like not like New York chaotic, but like energy chaotic, which is a shock. And so like we were, I think, so open to the energy of Istanbul and so laid back and grounded that it took us by complete surprise.
Not on guard at all.
Not on guard at all to guard ourselves from the energy of Athens and what it had to offer, which, in comparison, Athens' energy is not dissimilar to the energy of Naples.
Yeah, it feels.
That we went to Naples, like we did a 2.5 week drive through Italy, and one of our stops was Naples, and then we went to Pompeii and visited the Vesuvius and all that. And the energy there is extremely unstable.
Yeah. It doesn't feel great.
Yeah, but more so unstable.
Yeah, unstable.
It is like frigid. The energy is just frigid. But having said that, there's a huge benefit to frigidness if you're willing to withstand it and willing to put up with it, because it shakes up everything. It
brings stuff up.
Yeah, it registers on the frequency where shit rests, where pain body rests. And so Athens was just like the Istanbul gave us the centering calmness, then plopped us over into this frigidness that brought up the chaos that was festering and stirring.
Yeah.
And so our Athens trip, I say chaos. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, it's not bad at all, but it is exactly what was needed to come up in order for things to come up.
So I think was it the day that we got there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a travel day. It's got an hour drive to the airport in Istanbul. You got an hour or two flight. You got another hour drive to the hotel. You got an hour's worth of getting luggage. It's not necessarily enjoyable, especially for the children, to do that. I know that wears on people.
Yeah, but the children are fine.
The children are fine. But in the end, we ended up getting to the hotel at night. And
it wasn't even that late.
And
it was just a travel day.
It was a travel day.
But it was travel day in the middle, which tends to be a little stressful.
And the kids are doing what kids do. They're playing and fighting and whatever.
But they're amazing travelers.
They're amazing travelers.
Our kids are amazing travelers.
I am trying to word this in a way that does not place the blame on the kids.
There's no blame.
There's no blame on the kids. The kids are doing what kids do, and I am not handling it well.
And you used to not handle travel well at all.
Right. Yeah. And for whatever reason, maybe the energy of the city, maybe a travel day was hard on me. I don't know. I did not handle it well, and I was trying to get them to stop fighting. They were getting a bit, there's play fighting, and then it turns violent at some point. But
they always do that. That's like literally exactly what they do.
And
all
I'm
the time.
trying to stop it, trying to have my control. And in the end, Annabelle starts mocking me, which just
Is your pain body
pushed me over the edge. And then
your pain body disempowerment.
Yeah.
And then, if you're not aware of it, and it gets to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you come out of the bathroom going, "What's going on?" And I just, my intention was not to mock you. My intention was to repeat what she just did, but I just did it back to you. So I basically mocked you to your face.
Out of nowhere.
Especially to you, out of nowhere. To me, it's like I'm like, I've got the last 5-10 minutes of trying to stop them from fighting, but to you, it's completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just come out of the restroom, and then you're just mocking me like a 5-year-old.
Wait, what? So that wasn't a great start.
No, yeah, so that's what started it.
Yeah. And then there was so okay, the next day we go around the city and all that. And then the next day we have plans to rent a car and drive up to Delphi, where the oracles were.
Yeah. And you know what, I think with me, you mocking me was just so out of the blue.
Right, because I don't do that. I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, you've never done that. It was just such a shocking thing that, like, here's a human being who's supposed to be a civilized adult, and he mocks me like a 9-year-old little boy. And it was just such a shocking.
Yeah. As I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this isn't right. Where is this coming from?
Yeah, and I don't know. It was just, that is what needed to come up within you. It was like this 9-year-old behavior. I don't even know. I don't know if you've spent time processing that. Of like, what would cause somebody to act like a 9-year-old and mock their 40-year-old wife, like a 9-year-old child would do. Which is literally, you just repeated what you done. Like, but it did not came as a repeat. It like literally flew out of you as if like. It was very shocking to me. And so my idea, like within me, I guess that stirred one shock of like, what the heck is this? Like, is this like, am I married to a 9-year-old? And then on my end, I don't know if this brought it up. I know she's just so cute. Just the way she's cuddled up. And on my end, it brought up, well, actually, maybe it didn't bring that up. We were running, no. And this is not to blame you, but were you a little bit on the edge about getting to the rental-car place early in order to rent it so we had more time on the day?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so we woke up and that we were on the edge.
I mean, we had it booked at 8. Not that we would ever get there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but the car rental is 24 hours. So
it's not 24 hours.
Oh, it's not 24 hours?
It's not 24 hours because we had to return it by, before 9, remember?
Oh, yeah. That's how we priced it out. Yeah, whichever. So the next morning, we have to get to the car rental place in order to have a day to drive to Delphi.
Yeah, because that's like a 2.5 hour drive up to Delphi.
Yeah, and then
2.5 back. Our plan was to keep going up to Thermopylae.
Thermopylae, yeah.
So there was, 5 to 6 hours of driving.
Yeah, but I think the energy that was inserted into that was of like scarcity.
It was. It absolutely was.
So realize that in that moment, we're starting a day not in a relaxed state of being. You're starting a day in a densified scarcity mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I've got this stuff I've got to cram into today. And, every minute that we aren't at the car rental place is a minute that we don't get to explore.
Yeah, which is not the right.
No, that's not
what vacation's supposed to be. Right. So you're starting in the pain body and trauma of scarcity. Which I'm not saying we have not done that before, but I think there should be awareness to where we grow out of that as we travel forward. Especially since our trips tend to get a little bit more
adventurous
as we go. Right. And like think about Mount Shasta or the last California trip. There was like zero planning or
Right. It was just wing it.
We usually
it was
just wing
100%
it.
wing it.
No, it's easier. I say it's easier to wing it in the United States because, last minute hotel books is no problem. Showing up to any restaurant and getting food is no problem. So it's easier to wing it.
Most car rentals are 24 hours.
Yeah.
And even if there's no one there, it's like, oh, just drop it in the box.
Yeah. So I say that. So the foreignness of a country and then just general like nuances of travel in the foreign land does bring in a little bit of uncertainty. So it's harder to just wing it like we always do. But we do tend to. I mean, heck, we wing a lot of Egypt. But that, that'll be like the least winging stuff of a country. And Peru, we winged. I mean, we had hotels. We had hotels and like transportations, but as far as like booked excursions or things like that, we just wing it. Yeah, but we've traveled a lot, so I think that's normal. So anyway, so we're starting out with scarcity going to the rental place.
Yes, I certainly am.
And then so Elliot's on the edge, and whenever he's on the edge, I hate it. No, because it wasn't. I pick up on other people's frequency.
Yeah.
And it puts me in that same. I'm not blaming you, but that is how I function.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure I bring the whole family into it when I do that.
Yeah, because your energy, you have like this weird neurotic tendencies, and so like the kids and I pick up on it extremely easy, and then you think you hide it well, which actually amplifies it. But to us, it's almost like appalling or it stands out more because to you have this calm voice where everything is allegedly fine on your end, right? Because then you think you communicate calmly, but to us it's basically just like neurosis just flying out at us, right? And so like that brings in this mindset of like jitteriness, just general jitteriness, right? So then everyone's on the edge. And so the kids are on the edge, and then I'm on the edge. And then whenever you're on the edge, what comes up is generally what's kind of stirring at the surface, right? Which is what it's supposed to do, right? That's how processing works. Pain extraction or body extraction or pain body extraction works. Is that when things are on the edge, what will come up is what needs to come up. And so during the car rental process,
so we booked a nice car, the different.
What did we book? It was a BMW X1.
X something or other.
X1, which is a small version of
SUV.
Yeah, but we always try to book a new car.
Yeah, we try to buy nice. And it was $30 for a normal.
It was like $38.
Yeah, for like a economy car, and it was like $60 for a BMW SUV, and it's like okay.
After taxes, it was like
for a day.
We have
for an enjoyable drive. Yeah,
we have had multiple trips. No, to begin with, we used to book the cheapest cars we could possibly get, and then at some point, I went, "Oh no, I want a nice car," and we have realized how more pleasurable the trip is if you're driving in a nice car.
And the cost difference doesn't end up usually being that much, and I enjoy driving a new, different car that I've never driven before.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the market for a car, it's better than a test drive. You could drive it for a couple of days. You could, you really get a feel for a car.
Yeah, when we drove the Mercedes in Scotland for a week.
Yeah, it was
we realized we did not want a Mercedes.
That's not the car we want.
Yeah, and we almost pulled the trigger on the Mercedes.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. My gosh.
Certainly not a right-hand drive one.
Well, no, the air conditioning didn't even work properly on that.
And there was no room for my feet down there. Maybe a left-hand drive one would have been. There was I could barely put my 2 feet next to each other down on the driver's side floorboard. It was weird. And it's not a small car.
Yeah.
It's a big old SUV. I'm like, really?
Yeah, no, whatever it was, like spending a week in that car made me really realize like we do not want this car.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So we had booked this, BMW X1 or X3 or whatever.
BMWs are really nice on the road.
They're a really nice car, And we get there and he's like, oh, sorry. That BMW had some damage and it's not available, but we have a Ford Ranger for you. And I'm like, wait, what? For like the truck? Which I don't think would even fit 4 people, but
maybe you had
maybe
like
a Euro Ford Ranger is different from what we think of as a Ford
because
Ranger.
you showed them a picture.
I showed him a picture of a Ford Ranger, which
And
is
he was
which
like-
is this. I think that's the smallest truck that Ford makes.
Yeah. But you rent a car, like you pick a BMW or like
similar,
some
right.
similar class. How is the Ford Ranger? I'm going off right now.
Right.
I'm a pain
And so,
body.
in my defense, I would not have let the Ford Ranger fly.
You making excuses for
But-
yourself now.
He's like, well, we have a Peugeot 3008. I think is that what it was?
I don't know what it
Citroen,
was. It was a Peugeot.
Peugeot, something.
It wasn't a Citroen. Maybe it was a Peugeot.
One of the European cars that we don't have in the States. And I was in this, but this is not a luxury SUV
That
class
we paid
car.
for.
This is not a or similar.
Or similar, yeah.
Right. And I was going to just be okay, that's fine. And I don't know, maybe I would have maybe not said that this is not, for the price because we paid more. Is it a lot more? No, but that's beside the point.
No, but at that time, you're functioning in the scarcity mindset
I am functioning,
of time.
yes, because
right, you walked in with a scarcity mindset of time. So
And-
to you, the lens at which you're looking at this
This is
whole
true.
thing is time.
to me, because there's this little strip of like 2 or 3 blocks where it's just car rental place after car rental place after car rental place. There's Enterprise and there's Avis and there's Budget and there's whatever, just all in a line right here. And to me, the alternative to the Peugeot is walking next door to Enterprise or Avis or wherever and starting over from scratch and maybe getting a car, maybe not getting a car, but either way, that's going to take a lot of time. And time is the one thing that we don't have.
But time
that
is
is-
the pain body at which you woke up that morning.
Yes. And so
Unrecognizing,
not recognizing
like
that.
recognizing what mindset you're in.
But that was completely my mindset. And yeah, it took you going, no, that's not going to work. We paid for the nice car. What nice cars do you have? Before he's like, oh, well, actually, we do have something.
Well, no, I said we paid for this class. Or no, I will say so. At that point, you are in a scarcity mindset, pain body of time.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a scarcity mindset of people ripping me off or me not getting what I paid for, right? Like, because you and I, when we were booking that car, I looked at the list of car options, and then you and I looked at the regular place where we book cars, and then we didn't see anything there. And then you went to this other place to book cars.
Yeah.
Until we get sponsors, we will not name any names. And then they had
The X1 at like $60.
Yeah, but then they had cheaper options, and you and I then cognitively spent time talking about.
Oh my gosh, for $20, spending an entire day driving in this nicer car is worth it.
Yes, it's worth it, right? And so we go out of our way to book something that is more expensive, right? So to me, what my pain body comes into that is time invested in building an experience of pleasure, right? And then now all of a sudden, him telling me that I'm going to get, a shitty ass Peugeot. For all I know,
No
it might be a
offense to
nice Peugeot. Yeah, I don't know.
Not sponsored by Peugeot.
I'm now not going to get that, right?
Yeah.
And so then the next pain body that stirs into me is being ripped off, right? Meaning, to me, the fair thing would have been to, okay, if you do not have this class of a car that we have already prepaid for, then you give us the refund for the $20 or $30.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so to me, that was like the most obvious thing. That's fine. If I'm not getting the experience of this, $30 to me was worth to have a nice car. But if you're not going to give me the nice car, give me the money back. And then when I said that to him was basically like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to have to come up with some car that, And so I hate to say it, but in European cities, especially, scarcity type of European cities, that type of a shystery negotiation is just like the key. Like, especially, growing up in Ukraine, that's it. You're going to get fucked over unless you're vigilant, which is my pain body, right? I just, when we were painting this weekend, I recited the poem to you. Is basically, the poem was, the porcupine. Porcupine, why are you so prickly? Well, you know who my neighbors are. They're wolves, bears. No, wolves,
Foxes,
bears, and foxes. So, right. So this is the childhood poem that I'm memorizing at the age of 3 or 4 or 5. When I can memorize that, you have to be vigilant because your neighbors are these predators, right? And so the I almost said Yoshik. Yoshik is the Russian word for porcupine.
hedgehog.
I'm sorry, hedgehog. I say porcupine, but it's hedgehog, right? And hedgehogs are very prevalent in Ukraine. So that's just a normal creature that you have in all cartoons. Right. And so the mindset that is being taught to a child there is to stay vigilant, to stay, on your balls, be prickly, for self-defense, because anything is getting ready to get you. And so that stirs up within me. And whenever we travel to a country that is like that, like, I'm almost like prone to that energy, going back into Ukrainian mindset of like, being on the edge.
If anywhere has it, Athens has it.
Yeah, Athens,
or at least that part of Athens.
Yeah. Right. And so the guy is just doing his job, but that is the pain body that is stirring into me. Fairness of, I paid for this. If I don't get this, then give me money back for the extra that I'm not getting.
I mean, to him, if he can pawn off a lesser car on somebody who paid more and keep the difference for the company, that's great for him and his job.
Yeah. His goal is to give you the lesser car for more money.
And then there's the nicer car, which we ended up getting, spoiler alert, but that he could then, sell to someone in the future.
Yeah. But realistically speaking, this is at 11 o'clock. Nobody's going to come in and rent that car that day. Well, I mean, maybe, yeah, whatever. But all of a sudden, they came up with Porsche Cayenne out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden, nothing was available until I flipped out and said, fine, give me my money back. And then all of a sudden, cars are available.
Yeah. Which, hey, now I got to
but that's
test
life.
drive another
That's
car.
lesson in life, and that's how shit gets done. And I hate to say it, that Ukrainian mindset is what makes everyone successful in the United States. It's because everyone's vigilant and it's about fairness, right? And so why foreigners are so successful is because they come from this scarcity mindset of not, having to be prickly. And so when they come here, there's tenacity. There's tenacity to fight for what's right.
Right. And I mean, you see a lot of, and not just Ukraine, but a lot of the immigrants in the United States do really well for themselves. Like, it seems like statistically more than your average American. They do really well because they have that drive.
Well, you have that drive.
You have to have enough drive to come over here in the first place.
Yeah. So by default, that already puts the certain person who immigrates to another country, in our case, refugees to another country, is the type of person that already has some sort of drive.
Yeah.
Right. Now, in my parents' case, they did not have a drive. They just had their pain body of why coming here is the safety of their child. So they came here not because they had the drive themselves, it's because they wanted me to be safe. But to me, I had a drive of not being fucked over, which is, right. My whole story with Ukraine is just like, we're just being fucked over everywhere I go.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, wait, where did you leave off? Yeah. So the pain body with me is I have to stand up for just not to get more than I paid for, but to get what I paid for. Yeah. And then if I'm not, then get refunded the difference, right? Just the fairness. So with my pain body is like, this is not fair, period, right? The guy has no clue that both of us are here living our pain bodies through him, right? So most of the time, those outbursts are not personal. It's just, right? Yeah. And so then the next pain body gets started into me is unsafety that brings in. So in Ukraine, I felt so unsafe. And my parents did not offer that. They did offer everything they needed to offer. But to me, through my perception, they did not offer that buffer of safety into my universe, right? My personal realm. And so the unsafety that they created through their actions penetrated into my personal bubble. And then I felt unsafe in my bubble. Like, not only can I not affect the universe from being how I want it to be, my personal space gets affected, and then I am unsafe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. There's a nuance there.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that stirs at that pain bodies. Not only am I, right, meaning if I were to trust another human being, it's a trust factor, right? In this case, you, to make the right decision for our family about this car. Now, I know this is all minor, but that is how deep it went.
Yeah.
That you agreeing to us getting a Puget, to me, was devastating because it stirs at, this is the comfort, or in this case, safety of me and my family, and this another human being who I'm posing my trust on is betraying my trust. Not really betraying, but what's the word? Like
letting you down.
Letting me down. Not letting me, endangering me. Like endangering me, right? By me allowing them to have control over my domain of decision making, which is basically my pain body.
Right.
Like if I'm going to flip the fuck out over anything, this is it. Right? It is personal perception of personal endangerment of my safety. Because at the core of my being is basically this clusterfuck of shit. And so I get just triggered, completely triggered.
And with me, it's different. With me, I have a pain body of like letting you down, being it freaks me out.
But because it goes back to love.
Yeah.
If you let me down, I don't like you. I don't love you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you are abandoned by me.
Right. And so in that, because I thought about this, in that time, I kind of, it's like halfway of a lock up and halfway of not. And it was like, oh, if I can, I wasn't going to get the truck, but the Peugeot, he's offering Peugeot. Okay, we can get that. That's the one thing I can control. We can get this car. We can go on the way.
Which satisfies your time.
It satisfies time. It doesn't. I mean, saying it out loud doesn't make sense, but it somehow makes sense in my mind.
Yeah, no, it's
in order by not making this decision, it's not my fault that this isn't going the right way.
Which decision? Agreeing to the Peugeot?
Agreeing to any of it. By not, because I was like, oh, I'm okay with this car. Are you okay with this car? No, it's.
Oh, you wanted me to. You wanted me to.
Yeah,
be okay
I would
with it.
almost like offload the decision, because if I don't make the decision, then it's not my fault.
And then therefore I'm not angry at you.
And then and as I reflected on that, I'm like, there's a lot of weird mind games that subconsciously I was playing out, and it was like, oh, by not making this decision, it's not my fault, and then it's something like that.
Yeah, and with me, right, my pain body with you also rests, and I will actually I had a dream about this last night, so it's good that we're talking about it. That it is not an option for me to be with someone who is not cognitively aware and vigilant of their pain body expression. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that sounds rude, but right, you living in blindness as a personal choice does not offer me truth as a relationship, right? So sooner or later, a relationship, like if I'm spending time trying not to live in my pain body, then by default, what then I'm offering you is honesty.
Yeah.
not manipulation, not pain body, not anger, not outburst, but honesty, right? And there's peace and tranquility and true love that comes with that honesty. Not because that is what the goal is, just because that is what the only outcome of that honesty is, right? And so with me, at this point, I cannot live in the relationship where everything is not transparent, right? And so, like, your spiritual awakening is, I know, was not chosen, and you were more dragged in with it kicking and screaming, right? But it's because I perceive it and I see it as dishonest, not towards me, but towards self.
Mhm.
And then therefore, if you're dishonest towards self, I cannot know you. And you cannot know me. Right?
I mean, you can't even know yourself.
You don't know yourself. How can you offer anything else to anyone
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
Right. And it became so apparent and transparent to me that you know that was, it wasn't coming through. But now that I think about it, was another thing that coming up to that, right? Here, once again, we're flowing in dishonesty. We're flowing in bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it did come up because I started crying. I broke down and I started crying. The children, of course, get stirred up because you were already stirred up. Now I'm stirred up and I'm yelling and I'm crying and all over a car. But of course, it's much bigger than a
Right.
car.
It's not the car.
And so what I am seeing in that moment is, one, my pain body of my personal safety and endangerment, let's say, is being tested here. So there's the trust factor it's like a trespassing on the trust. And then two, it is continuing to be so. So besides the fact that this is a trespassing on the trust, this is not any different than 20 years of our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that 20 years of our relationship has been you trespassing on my trust.
Yeah.
Right. So one, yes, I'm seeing my personal pain body, but at the same time, I'm seeing you living your pain body through me. Do you understand? So I'm seeing it I'm overlooking it from both standpoints. And so I'm crying, one, because I'm feeling that vulnerability within myself as you betraying my trust and me feeling unsafe about it. And then two, once again, you are not doing your due diligence to offer yourself honesty, so then you can offer honesty to me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it was a interesting experience of our two pain bodies being different enough that they kind of went poo. And, your priority was, getting what we paid for and the comfort and the safety that goes along with that. And my pain body was, there's not enough time. So whatever we get, the faster we get, the better. Went into it to some degree.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, yeah, I was going to basically probably walk out of there being cheated out of $30.
And had a shitty ass car for all day.
And had a shitty ass car, which is the worst part of it because,
yeah, because
$30 one thing, but
I value my drive.
Yeah.
And I know this is just going to score points to me, but you really enjoyed that drive once we relaxed and had a nice drive back.
Once we relaxed, yeah. No, that was a fun little car to, little car is a big car. Fun car to whip around those. I can't believe it routed us back that crazy way.
Yeah. The kids got nauseous, but.
Yeah.
No, and it's right. So yeah, so your pain body, but that's how it has always been with us.
Right.
And I think that's how all relationships are.
But that, it also, triggered that disempowerment in me. And kind of for the rest of the trip, I was like a little hypervigilant. When we got to the airport, I was arguing with the cab driver because I thought they said 44 euros and he said 48. And I'm like, no. And they had to call the hotel and everything.
Yeah. But with me, that disempowerment, right?
Right. But
it's a pain body that stirs at me.
Yeah. Because it directly affects you.
Yeah. So your pain body of disempowerment affects my unsafety. Yeah. Right? Because you being disempowered and me allowing you to make decisions in your state of disempowerment directly affects my safety, because most of the time the disempowerment leads to me being fucked over. I say me, us being fucked over, but in that case, when it triggers a pain body, it's me being fucked over, right?
Yeah.
And so then by default, then I have to be the one who's always vigilant. And then that necessity for vigilance, like stirs at a whole pain body, because I realize that rigidness in me, exists out of fear and mistrust.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is something I'm needing to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah.
Well, it was a learning, a growth experience.
Right. But, and then Aiden, and I'm crying 2 hours drive to Delphi. I mean, I think I stopped crying sooner or later because I started just going into more of overlooking as opposed to overlooking.
I mean, yeah. No, it was a very reflective drive for both of us, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Aiden, and later after this whole thing calmed down, right? Aiden's like, I hate when you guys do this. It's like, this is absolutely terrible. And I'm like, but this is what a pain body flow looks like,
right,
if it goes unchecked and expressed in everyday world. Right. He's like, but you guys usually don't do that. He said that. I'm like, yeah, we don't do that because we spend time diligently
doing it ourselves.
Right. Like in the comfort of our home with cacao, through the conversation, hours of discussion. But when we're cooped up, for 9 days without that personal space or even meditation, right? Because we meditate every day and we do yoga every day. And so it allows us that box of contemplation.
Yeah, it's, something will stir up my pain body or something will stir up your pain body. And we get to deal with that ourselves and with each other. But when
through conversation.
But when we each stir up each other's pain body, combined with, it being a trip and the tensions are running high and the city's got its energy and all of that, that's the recipe for a explosion that, the same trigger, on a different day in a different place wouldn't have been as explosive. But then again, it may not have been as effective.
Yeah, no, it was really effective.
It was really effective. I spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah. I mean, during a drive?
During the drive, after the drive, at night. I mean, since we've been home too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to, no, I don't think everyone will have this experience, but I do want to say that there's an option for this experience, right? I was crying and it hurt so deep, right? But I have posted this in the previous podcasts already, that I have been working on this feeling of safety and feeling of trust back, with the whole like witch thing that got brought up and the feeling of a personal unsafety. So I have already been working on that, trying to let go and then surrender into that feeling of personal unsafety and kind of like allow it to flow out of me. And in one of my videos that I channeled, so when I channel, did I say this? I channel 5 weeks out. I might have mentioned this before. No.
Not here, no.
Not here. Okay. Then I just mentioned it to you. Do we have time? Yeah. So I channel it out. And so one of the videos that I channeled that was coming out that weekend was about, did you hear that? Did you listen to that yet? No. Okay. It was basically about being in the right place at the right time that resonates with you energetically, that allows you pure healing. And the video is called Miracle of Miracle Healing.
Link in the description.
Yeah. And so at the time when I recorded this would have been months out, right? I did not know what that would mean. And so these videos are kind of almost like
messages of future, Tanya?
Like prophecies of the future explorations, right? And so when I recorded it, I was like, well, this seems to be a very charged video. I have no, and so I'm channeling, so I don't actually know what it actually means. And this is going to be weeks out in the future. I'm like, that's going to be a weird situation, And so what the situations end up being is I talk in the video about being in energetic spaces that allow miracle healings. That's what the video is about.
Hmm.
And at the time I thought miracle healing's like physical. Like, oh, I have like, like broken leg, or like I'm paralyzed, and all of a sudden this place I'm paralyzed with me. That is what I thought it was talking about.
Right. Like, was it Lourdes in France?
Yeah, Lourdes in France, right? So like in my mind, when I was channeling this, that is where my mind went.
Or the healing waters at Delphi.
Right. And so I didn't, it just, I mean, I'm seeing spirit around us right now. So it's just magic. It is just magic. Then I record this video, and then that weekend we're driving to Delphi.
Right.
And I'm crying. I'm crying. I'm basically at the wit's end. And in this video, in fact, I talk about someone being at the wit's end. And I'm talking passionately in this video because the tone, I don't speak this way, because I already channel in a different tone than I speak. And so in this video, I'm speaking at a very interesting tone. And so the energy of aggression about somebody being at wit's end, I'm feeling it. And I'm like, wow, somebody must be really at the wit's end in order to feel this. And I'm feeling this as I'm channeling. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is a really fucked up video.
Turns out it's you.
No, it turns out that it's exactly the energy that somebody would feel when they would be at the wit's end. And so as I'm driving, as you're kayaking us through Greece, right? I am at my wit's end, and I'm crying, and it hurts, and I'm like, I'm fucking done living this way. I'm done feeling unsafe, because it's not, at that point, right, I'm like starting to see through this bullshit. And I'm like, this is not Elliot. This is not anybody. This is not the rent-a-car that I will not mention guy. It is all on me, and I'm allowing this to be my truth, right? And I'm so, what's funny?
Finish up, I'll tell you.
No, and so I'm just so done, and I'm at wit's end, and I'm sitting there crying / trying to, I'm just angry at myself, like just angry that this is the truth that I have come to accept as my truth, right? I'm kind of crying right now. I'm so angry at myself, like rage angry at myself, like it's still coming through, that I have allowed this to be my truth, and I have married this truth, and it has been driving me for the last 40 years of my life, right? Like, enough is enough. And, and I'm the type that will curse. I was like, fuck this shit. This is it. I cannot continue to live this way. This is what my thought process is, right? And so as you're driving me, and you're driving, and music is playing, like we're on some sort of weird Greek radio.
It was weird.
The music list was weird, but I think it was on purpose. Everything was on purpose.
It was a whole bunch of like they were all breakup songs. Did you notice that?
Yes.
They were all breakup songs.
Yes. And I'm like, right?
And I'm like, hey.
Right. And I'm like, the one?
Used to be together. What was the Gwen Stefani? Oh, it was when she was with whatever the group was.
No Doubt.
No Doubt, yeah.
I don't remember. They were all breakup songs.
They were all breakup songs, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It was weird.
Yeah, but it was spiritual communication.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Did
you think we were good? Because I'm saying this is it. I cannot continue to live this way, and you're interpreting it as like this is a divorce.
Yes.
And in my case, I'm also interpreting a divorce, because I'm like, I cannot continue to be with human being that makes me feel this unsafe.
Right.
And I'm saying this to the kids. I'm like, I cannot live feeling this unsafe. Like, I cannot. And to begin with, right, because you are the epitome of this reflection, I'm saying that on you. To begin with, when I'm in my pain body and I'm not seeing that I'm the one who's bringing unsafety into my life, it is all on you, right? And so why divorces happen is, how do I make myself feel safe? I run away from the person that makes me feel unsafe, without the overlook perspective of, guess what? You're fucking feeling unsafe on the inside. This person has nothing to do with it. You divorcing this human being will just not make that go away. And everything in your life forward, all your other marriages, all your other relationships will continue to bring that forth until you process that out. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. That's the ugly truth that nobody wants to hear. Right. But that was the truth that I was living, and knowing I already knew that in my mind that wasn't the case. But at the time I was so in depth of that pain body, and it was so real that it was just there. And the rent-a-car started up, you started up, and I'm just losing it. So as we're driving to Delphi, I am at my wit's end, not recognizing, of course, that I recorded only a week later. I recognized that I recorded this article. In that article, the channel message about healing. And I'm basically at my wit's end, and I'm like, this is it for me. This is it. I cannot continue to live like this. Something's got to stop. And I'm basically reaching out to the powers above going, this is it. And I realized later that Eckhart Tolle and Buckminster Fuller both talk about these instances where you're at your wit's end, and it's basically, I'm moving on from this world, or something's got to change. And it was that moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was so as I'm driving there, I'm literally driving to fucking Delphi, right? To the sacred springs that purified the oracles. And so that was my request. It was like, I cannot continue to live like this. This is personal self-abuse. Why is it funny?
No,
And so we get there, and I come down because I feel this energy washing over me. And then we literally walk through the Oracle of Delphi place, and the energy there is amazing. And then we walk
in such stark contrast to Athens.
Yes, right. It's purifying
it's
energy.
Up in the hills.
The mountains are amazing, and I have always been able to connect to the mountain energy. So the mountain energy is amazing. We just drive in, and I feel this welcoming. Like I feel like I'm home. I literally feel at home, and I feel this washing over me before we even got to the spring. And we walk through the Oracle of Delphi complex, and I feel this, like literally just shit coming off of me. And then we walk through the spring, and I literally just wash myself in it. Like, the spring is flowing out of the little fountain that the oracle bathed themselves in.
Right.
And then I wash myself in it. And then later, I'm brushstroking through this because we don't have time. And then later we end up going to the cave where the oracles used to do prophecies before they built the temples. And the cave has all these magical properties associated with it, where the Pan is there, who's the god of the wind.
Yeah.
And the Zeus was there.
The cave was incredible.
No, the cave was basically it.
Yeah, the cave.
So I know this. We should just
crazy drive of the cave.
Yeah, we need to do just the talk, continue talking about the cave in the next episode.
I can card and we can keep going.
And then just continue this.
Yeah.
Wait, how long has it been already?
We'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, no. So I will go back. The whole property of the Delphi, the drive into the Delphi whenever the mountains hit.
Yeah, we go through the little village.
Yeah, but before that, right there when we it's a winding little road, and it's like this valleys and hills and whatever, but it drives into these magnificent mountains, and so the energy of those mountains, one, is magical. So it's good that you put a new card in, because like I say in my miracle healing video that looking for those places, right, just for the purpose of healing is kind of like the wrong way to go about it. I say that, but at the same time,
if they present themselves,
if they call you to them and they present themselves to you, I think that is something that you should explore and do. And my point of going to Greece and to Athens was more to go to Delphi than it was to go to Athens.
Yeah.
That I was being called to Delphi, not to Athens. Meteora too, but they just didn't work out. But I think specifically Delphi, I just needed to go to Delphi. And it felt like home. When we started driving through it and I was going through my, emotional breakdown, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm home. I've been here before. Yeah, and so we all calmed down when we got into Delphi. Have you noticed the energy of everyone just kind of shifted?
Oh yeah.
Like before, the kids were upset because mom was talking about divorcing daddy. Daddy was flipping out, mommy divorcing him or me divorcing him.
See, I didn't feel like I was flipping out. I felt incredibly calm.
No, but I mean, like, you said emotionally, like, right? It was stirring a European body of being left. No?
I was more stirred during the car rental place than I was on the drive. I was incredibly
that's what
calm
I
on the
mean.
drive.
That's what I mean.
The drive, I mean,
The car rental place
Yeah.
stirred all this up,
yeah,
and the drive was basically
a decompression.
a decompression, emotional evaluation.
Yeah. No, I'm like,
Plus the
I'm
songs.
weirdly calm, like
Right.
eerily calm.
Because during the song, you're evaluating what is
Yeah.
at the core being brought into fruition.
It was uncanny. It was like 10, breakup songs in a row.
It was more than 10.
It was the whole drive was just,
if you
pop, 90s, early 2000s breakup songs.
No, like post breakup and breakup.
Yeah. I didn't know if you noticed that or not.
No, I noticed it, and I'm like,
I noticed it too.
But you were okay with that?
Yeah.
Was the songs causing you to become at peace with, because of the circumstances of us getting divorced?
I mean, I was just at peace to begin with. I was weirdly at peace with it. I don't know. After we got out of the building, the car rental building, I was at peace the entire time. I wasn't happy with how things were, but I was peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you kind of accepted us separating?
I didn't really think it was going to happen, but I was at peace with whatever was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, at the time when I said that, I did not say we're going to get divorced.
No,
I just said I cannot do this anymore.
You said, I can't do this anymore. Do you know what that means? Do you know what I'm implying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I did not see, right, at the time, me continuing to live with you endangering me, which is what that pain body was not an option.
Yeah.
And so then I'm driving and I'm like, fuck, this is just my story. I'm living in mortal danger, which I've already known this. And so I have already been working on this, and it's kind of been building itself up, right, to the surface for the weeks before that. And so, but right there, that rent-a-car thing just got it right there. And so, yeah, I was at my wit's end. The video of prophecy, did not realize any of this until, of course, later. And so the second we drive into Delphi, everything kind of charges down for me, or even on the way before, like when all the breakup songs were going on, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it's just what it is, right? No, life is magical if you let it happen.
Yeah.
Right. Now, it does not have to be chaotic.
That was chaotic.
To begin with.
It was frantic and chaotic and charged and
Aiden pointed out, like, you guys are usually not this way. Why is it this way? Right. But it was just like tension build up.
Yeah.
And then if you don't let that tension out naturally, it just explodes itself out to the surface. Which, you and I used to have a lot more fights too. Before we spent time cacaoing and meditating and talking, and it was a lot more charged. Not like I don't think we fought like most people, but occasionally we would come up to the surface. But this was over a stupid thing like a car rental. Yeah, and so then I washed myself in a spring, and then when we drove into the mountains, it felt all completely calm.
Yeah.
And then Delphi was calm. The mountain, the springs were calm.
And then we went to this cave that's, I don't know, it was probably 30, 40 minutes away. It's not far from Delphi, but it's not a easy road to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And like the last 3-4 kilometers are this unpaved gravel, pothole ridden, there's boulders on it. And
I
we're taking a Porsche Cayenne up this thing.
a brand new Porsche guy.
A brand new one.
You know, I think if we were not in a SUV, 4-wheel drive SUV, we probably wouldn't have made it.
No, I don't know if the Peugeot would have made it.
No. There you go.
Ford Ranger might have
There's
made
a
it.
reason. Oh, yeah, fuck. That's the reason why the guy was trying to give us a.
I've got to tell you at the end. It has to be at the very end because it will put a nice bow on this entire thing.
You're justifying your Ford.
No. I have to tell you what the guy when I returned the Porsche, what the guy told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I ever told you that.
I'm curious.
This is great, but it has to be the last thing that we say.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah. So then
So we go to this cave.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we made it up.
It was crazy.
It was
the force driving to it was magical.
Yes.
Like otherworldly.
It was a little white knuckly as a driver because it's like scrape your car on this side, fall off to your doom on that side, and while you're at it, avoid the 2-foot potholes and the 2-foot boulders and try to drive over it.
Yeah. So this cave is on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Delphi is like the city of Delphi or the Oracle of Delphi is on this side of the mountain range, right? You drive into the mountain range and it's on one side of the mountain range. And then this thing is on the other side of the same mountain range, correct?
Corinthian Cave. No, it's on the north side of the mountain range.
No, but the same mountain range, but just the other side of it, correct?
Yeah, Delphi's on the southern side and the Corinthian Cave is on the northern side.
So it's the same mountain, just different side of it.
Same mountain range.
Same mountain range, yeah. Yeah. But this cave is on the top of the mountain to the point where if you make it to the top where the cave is and you're looking down,
you see the
valley, which is magnificent. But how many feet up is this? It's like
a couple thousand feet up.
Okay, I don't know. I can't measure distance.
And we look down, and there's maybe 100 sheep.
Sheep with bells.
And we can just hear them.
And the bells.
And
they're echoing through the whole valley.
Right.
They're being herded, and so they're like the whole valley's been filled with the sound of bells and sheep.
We open the door, we're like, what is that sound? Because it's at least 2,000 feet down, and then a couple thousand feet over.
Yeah, but you can see the whole valley. It is an incredible view.
Right. We get up there, and it's not a warm day, but the weather's calm.
But it's overcast.
It's overcast.
It's overcast.
It's not really windy, despite being on top of a mountain.
Yeah, and so it's a little hike from the top of the place where you can, if you do drive your car there, where you can park your car. There's no parking lot.
Yeah,
there's just cliff.
There'll be room for like 3 or 4 cars to park, maybe.
I doubt even that because then you can't turn around and drive back down.
No, it was like a 5-point turnaround to get back out of there.
Yeah.
It's one of those, don't pull too far or you're going over.
This is not a normal tourist destination.
No, it's not a normal tourist destination.
This is a weird place but I was called to go to.
Oh, yeah. This was the highlight of the trip for me.
Yeah. No, I was totally being called. I'm like, if nothing else, you need to make it to this cave. And so when we walk into the cave has like a tiny little opening. It's a triangular opening.
And there's a little rock in the middle at the bottom too, kind of sticking up.
Sticking out to cover some of the entrance. And I'm trying to think what's the height? Maybe 10 or 12 feet height of.
Yeah.
But like the opening looks small, but you realize it actually drops itself down.
Yeah.
So it looks small.
Enlarging.
But it literally goes into the depth of
we
Earth.
We can maybe put a picture right here of the
opening. Yeah, because I took a picture of eight in the opening. So
from the inside looking out.
Yeah, from the inside looking out, so you can kind of see. And so that opening from that picture actually looks bigger than it is from the outside.
Yeah,
because from the outside it looks tiny. And so the cave opens itself, and it's actually considered a wound. A wound, earth over the wound. It's considered that.
And the first thing I noticed was, people have been here recently, and because here's like a little stone circle. And fire pit and some, offerings. I did not sacrifice that.
No, they're offerings.
But offerings, people left flowers, people left, beads or.
I purposely did not read anything about the cave before we went, so I read things afterwards. And so, people go there to make offerings to Zeus, to their oracles, and to the Pan. And so everybody goes there for offerings. And so the whole cave is filled with little things.
Yeah. It's a cave, so it's dark. The only light source is the opening, which is
Mhm.
it's a pretty deep cave, and it gets pretty tall. It's surprisingly voluminous.
It looks like a
in
womb. It
there.
feels like a womb.
It feels like a womb. And it's damp and things, little stalactites at the top. They're dripping. Stalactites at the bottom are mud. And then it levels out, and there's a little valley, for lack of a better term. I don't know, 15 meters deep going in, and then it's 15 meters or so. And then it starts going back up into, I don't know, unexplorable
into
territory back there where if you had proper spelunking gear on, maybe you could go look.
I think it goes deeper than we went.
Yeah. It was like, oh, we're going to get really dirty and probably scratch ourselves up if we go explore much deeper than this.
Yeah. No, it was
But all the rock formations looked like faces. Like really, to the point where the camera's autofocus was like, oh, here's a face.
Yeah.
And, it puts the little cross on the eyeball to focus on the eyeball. It's like, I think this is a face.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
The camera is literally identifying his faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the cave was magical. Like, one, it was not empty. We were the only people there, but it was not empty by any means.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that, I knew that it was a cave where oracles used to do their prophecies, and there were oracles that did a lot of work before the temples of the Delphi was built. But I did not know that there was a prophecy of Zeus being there, and I did not know that there was a prophecy of the Pan watching over the cave at all. I had no idea.
That's right. So what? Zeus was held by, I forget who, one of the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And then he used his thunderbolts.
Yeah,
and his mad skills.
Zeus was imprisoned there.
Yeah. To defeat whoever it was.
Sea. Circle the sea, I think. Whatever it was. But the beings that were inside the cave was not dissimilar to the group of beings that were also on Mount Shasta.
I could see that.
Yeah, energetically. They're all of the same frequency.
We will have to do a Mount Shasta episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, wait, you happen to have a couple of dollar bills.
Had a couple
and
US $1 bills.
And I got a pine cone from Delphi. And now, and I held it with me the entire time from Delphi when we went to the springs, and then in the car, I was just holding this pine cone in my hands, and I was just playing with it the entire time. And so I walk into this cave holding this pine cone, and then I realized, oh, I'm supposed to leave an offering here.
But you don't want to leave the pine cone.
And I'm like, but I don't want to leave my Delphi pine cone.
And I had $3, and there's 4 of us, but Aiden didn't do it.
Yeah, Aiden was a little disturbed about the cave. I think I know why, but I'm not gonna. That's Aiden's story to tell.
So Annabelle and I make a $1 offering inside of.
Yeah.
And you later on you do too.
Yeah.
But we there's this giant stalagmite that's like kind of hollow, and people had put like offerings inside, and we just tuck some bills in there, and make Yeah.
Yeah, and then we sat down at the fire circle.
Did a chant.
And then we did a chant because I felt like we needed to give the song voice to the cave as a gift. And so we did a chant. We explored the cave. Yeah, we explored the cave first and did a chant. And then we left. And then we go to leave. And then we make it outside, and it is super windy.
It is insanely windy. Because I'm when we're going in, I'm like, oh, maybe at the end I'll fly a drone because I hadn't flown yet. And I get out and I'm like, this might be too windy to even fly.
Yeah, it became super windy.
It was really windy.
Yeah.
And the sky was clear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sky becomes this beautiful, open,
sunny.
sun.
I mean, it's like, partly cloudy, but mostly sunny.
Sunny. And the valley is lit in the most magical colors. And the wind is just...
Right.
Oh my gosh, the wind was just magical. Later I realized that, oh no, it's the cave of a Pan, who is the god of wind. I had no idea. But no.
Turns out.
He was totally there. And so we as whenever you went to drone, we walked up onto these little cliffs further with this little tree hanging over the valley looking there. And we just sat there, and the wind was just, it it wasn't even like blowing. It was like swirling around us. Like it felt like a swirl, like these loop swirls.
Yeah. The wind was weird.
Yeah. No, I think it was like a welcoming, cleansing, like, hello, wind, right? We came into the cave. It was dark. It was calm and cold. And then we did our little thing. And then we come out and it's just a different day. And the wind is there saying hello. And so Annabelle and I have a picture of ourselves outside of it. And our hair is just like, just standing up due to the wind. Maybe you can post a picture up. Oh, I guess Annabelle's in a picture. It's probably okay. Yeah. And so it was just magical. Oh, yeah. And then it turns out at the end, I no longer have my pine cone.
Yeah, right. They have taken your pine cone.
Yes,
they have. You wanted to keep it, but
But the offering is supposed to be something that you do not want to relinquish.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be something that you care about, and like you want to give it to them, but it means something to you.
In as much as yes, I would rather have $1 than not have $1, but
yeah, you don't.
I would rather have this special, pine cone than $1.
Oh yeah, I threw $1 in there, and it was almost like pointless. It was almost like an insult to them,
which I know is a very privileged thing, but emotionally, the pine cone meant a lot more to you than a $1 bill.
Oh yeah. But no, I walked out and I'm like, wait, I don't have my pine cone, and so they just took my pine cone as an offering. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I came out and I'm like, can you please allow me to collect, a token? Like the pine cone was a token from Delphi. And I guess they wanted the token. And then I'm like, can you let me take a token? And so I took some acorns. Because there was an acorn tree, a weird acorn tree. The leaves were holly leaves, but the offspring were acorns. I've never seen that type of tree before. That's the tree that we were next to, that tree that was overhanging.
The big one?
Yeah. And the rocks that we were sitting on outside where the wind was swishing around us were white. There were white rocks.
I think I might have a drone picture of you guys.
Okay, yeah. There. Post that up. I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what the makeup of that mountain is, but they're white rocks. And I was thinking to myself, it almost looks like seagulls, like in California where the seagulls poop all over the rocks. Mm. And they just like white rocks. It almost looked like that color white, like poop white, seagull poop white. I know that's not the most beautiful description, but there was just white, and the tree was just overhanging in the most magical way. And I'm like, how is this tree thriving in this environment, being driven by wind so much? Yeah. Oh yeah. If you have you took pictures, you didn't do a video?
I might have a video of it too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if the wind will come through in the video or not. Yeah.
You'll see the tree blowing, I imagine.
Yeah, or our hair blowing. That would be. And yeah, so we carefully walked down just because it was so windy. I'm like, my gosh, this wind is so powerful.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and
it was like a different day.
Drone.
Yeah.
So it was probably even harder to fly. So yeah, then we made it down.
Yeah.
And then we went. So yeah, and then the drive back was.
Yeah, I mean. And Google Maps is always trying to reroute you to the fastest way possible. And maybe it was rush hour, maybe there was an accident, I don't know. But instead of going left onto the whatever European interstates are called, we went straight and stayed on these crazy windy back roads because it thought that would be faster. And maybe it was, I don't know. But that was a lot of back roads. Mm-hmm. It was like, we're at the point where it's 2 hours back and you can go left or you can go straight. And it told us to go straight.
Yeah, but it was probably like a, nice Porsche winding roads.
Yeah, I mean, it got dark.
Yeah, it got dark. Yeah.
It was.
People were going faster than us.
People go that crazy Jeep. Remember that guy?
Yeah, and the motorcycles. Guys, I think he was trying to keep up with the motorcycles.
Passing everybody on the double line.
A lot of people there just pass everybody on the double line. And then when they drive there, people expect you to pass, so they get into the middle or the side road.
Yeah, there's like I don't know if it's like a emergency lane. It's not a full lane. It's like, half a lane, but they'll get over and expect you to pass even if it's double yellow.
Yeah, but that seems to be all through the country. Like that's a normal way of operating. People just like pull to the side to allow you to pass, which is not something that we do here.
No. In America, it's like, you can't pass me.
Yeah, right? Most of the time people block you.
Yeah. If you pass me, that means that I'm not a man. You can't pass me. I don't know why I'm doing an accent. American accent.
American.
American.
Is it American accent?
It's supposed to be.
Well, no, where we live, it's very, very, people like block you.
Yeah.
Very anger driving. Like, God forbid you pass someone.
Right. Because that changes anything.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, yeah. It didn't make it to Thermopylae.
No, because it was already getting late.
It was getting late. And
we were hungry.
Yeah.
And it was a long day. Emotionally, it was a long day. So, yeah. So, no. Oh, yeah. So this is what I want to say. After that day, and so Eckhart Tolle talks about in his first book, I think. Do you remember him talking about this?
Power of Now? Power of Now?
Maybe. And then you read Buckminster book, right?
It was about him. It wasn't by him.
Oh, okay. I heard, for some reason, I want to say maybe we heard an interview where they talked about Buckminster.
But it was in that book. He, both of them had basically, like, on the verge of committing suicide because they can't, they just can't.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't at the point of suicide, but I was at the point of like, my can't was, right. I recognize like divorce isn't going to fix it because it has nothing to do with anyone outside of me.
Yeah.
But it was just my personal choice.
Yeah. But they come to this crossroads where you just can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And in Eckhart Tolle's case, it ended up not killing him, but killing his ego. His, so.
Well, because I did not read the Buckminster one, but I read Eckhart's book. Is he sitting on the edge of a shore? Is he
I thought it was on a dock.
On the dock, maybe, by the water, right?
And I don't remember if Buckminster Fuller, if it was the same with him or not. But both of them, Buckminster came back and, he was married and was just like, I can't, I won't be able to take care of my family. I won't, won't be able to do this, won't be able to do this. I'm better off dead. And I don't remember if there was insurance money.
Didn't Lipton had the same story too, right? Or not?
I haven't read his book, so maybe.
I think Bruce Lipton has the same story too.
And
or similar. Like, this is it for me. Like, I have nowhere to go from here.
Yeah. And Bucky ends up coming out of that with, oh my gosh, I will completely surrender myself to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I will trust that God will just take care of everything else. And that's basically how he lived his entire life was, he's not out trying to make money. He's not out trying to do this. That just takes care of itself. He's just like, I will do what I am put here, and I have the ability and the intelligence or whatever to design these things, to think through these problems, to give these talks to people, to work on these projects. And, money will take care of itself. Food will take care of itself. Everything will just take care of itself. I'll focus on this and let God work on the rest. And he lived a very, very successful life, an outstanding life.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. When it was happening to me, like now I can look back at it in a romanticized type of a way, like as a good thing. But at the time, it is brutally painful. Right? Because I'm at the really wit's end. So it was just devastatingly painful. You're still wanting to tell me what the kind of yeah. And so wait. So what I wanted to say is later after we came back, I realized the experience was of Eckhart's type and what you told me about Buckminster and then what Bruce wrote in his book about, right? It was that type of and then I realized, it's literally what I recorded weeks later about my miracle of miracle healing. And I was just talking about myself. and not about any kind of health healing. It was a emotional, kill me now. I wasn't going to kill myself, but I did not see a way of proceeding forward, continuing to live with that pain.
Right.
Personal, choice into that personal pain. Because it was, I recognized it was a personal choice for me to live with this as my truth. And I'm like, I can no longer have this as my truth. This is it. It's life or death. Not that I had a death plan, but it was just like, this can no longer be my truth. And so the adamancy, is that a word?
How adamant you are?
Yeah, how adamant I were. But the adamancy of that decision was the energetic override necessary for me to completely dissolve that untruth. And maybe people talk about ego. I didn't feel like it was ego, but it was this pain. It was the untruth of pain that I decided to make it my truth was what was necessary in order for it to be dissolved. And so the Delphi energy was helping me dissolve that. But it wasn't the magic of the Delphi itself. It was the adamancy of my choice, right? Of like, this is it for me. And then the energetic alignment of the space taking mercy on me. Like, honestly, it was taking mercy on me. I'm going to cry right now. So I say this, people should not travel with this as a goal, right? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people to go, like, when people go to the Louvre or not the Louvre, the Lourdes, right? And then they have a goal, right? Like, it's not that. It is you are at your wit's end, and like Eckhart and like Bucky and like Bruce, you just have nowhere to go. Like, that's where I was. I had nowhere to go, and it was just eating me up alive. And so ever since, I should continue. We returned the car, which you will say what you will say about the car return. And then the next day, which is a Saturday, which is when the video that I recorded about this is publishing that morning, it was a weird day. It was like an energetic weird day. We couldn't figure out what to do. It was like we almost couldn't find a place for ourselves.
Yeah. We went to some park.
And we went to a park, and then the kids just ended up playing, and we kind of...
There was a turtle fight.
It was a turtle fight. We tried to turtle rescue. It was kind of strange. And then we go to a Chinese restaurant because we were kind of like, wasn't sure what to eat. And
we'd had a lot of Greek. We'd had a lot of Mediterranean food.
Yeah, we had a lot of Mediterranean food. We were done Mediterranean. We were trying to score something different. We got Chinese.
Right.
The lady basically lied to us about it being a vegetarian. And so I end up eating meat, probably for the first time in a year. And I don't know if that's what causes the food poisoning or...
Oh, you were up all night.
Or something else.
Coming out of both ends. It was...
Yeah.
It sounded unpleasant.
That evening, I am purging myself quite literally all night long in the most unpleasant way possible.
And this is the night before tomorrow morning. There's a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
And then a 5-hour layover. And then a 3-hour flight.
Okay, no. So that is a Friday. I'm purging myself Friday night into Saturday morning, and that video is publishing Saturday morning. So I'm purging myself as the video is coming out. So I line those videos up for myself.
That's amazing.
And it's crazy. Yeah. And so I'm puking and pooping all night long. I have those cold shivers where just, can't get warm. Of course, the hotel room is tiny, so the kids keep on waking me up because I'm going to the restaurant.
And the hotel room is like right across the street from the most popular nightclub in all of Athens, apparently. And we're on the second floor, basically overlooking this all night long.
Until 4 a.m.
Until 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, 3:30 was that night. When I was puking, they were going till 3:30.
And we got to get out pretty early to, make the hour drive to the airport to get there, 2+ hours in advance. And of course, Athens Airport decides to flag us for security multiple times.
Oh yeah, and I'm nauseous. I swore off food at that point. I'm like, I'm not eating for the rest of my life. This is it.
Especially not Chinese food.
You're right. Still not having
Mine was amazing. And she's going to add to the menu sweet and sour tofu, which had never crossed their mind, apparently.
I could say things. Oh my gosh. I mean, I needed to purge.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It came down to it, if it wasn't Chinese food, it probably would have been something else, but I needed to purge. And so how it came out, like I say this in the most nonchalant way, but the entire experience was excruciating hell. From the rental, the Delphi part was great. And then the next day was weird. And then that night was excruciating hell as far as puking, because I was purging out that energetic energy.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, since then, I just feel different. Like whatever frequency that was built up in me, I don't know if you notice it or not, it's just not there.
You do seem different. You seem lighter.
Yeah. So I just feel different. I don't know. Don't know where it ends. Like maybe it'll still come back, but it's just, I feel different. And then like now in retrospect, I go, wait, this is what Eckhart talked about. This is what Bruce talked about. This is literally what I talked about in my channel video weeks before that it happened to publish on that Saturday. And then now like everything just feels different. Like more nonchalant, maybe more carefree and real. Like the tension is not there. Yeah. So it was magical, like excruciating and painful. We should talk about my Egypt experience too. That was another excruciating, painful experience.
We can do one on that, yeah.
That was another one of the energetic clearings. And then wait, there was another one. I had Egypt. Now I had Greece, and there was one more.
Did you get sick in Peru?
Oh yeah, Peru was not great. But maybe not as bad as Egypt and Greece.
Peru was...
You were more sick in Peru
I was
than
more
I was.
sick, but it wasn't as bad as in was it Monument Lake? Monument in was it California? With 8,000 feet? Even though
Mammoth
Lake. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was just altitude sickness.
Yeah.
But what I had in Egypt was a cleansing.
Yeah. What I had in Peru was altitude sickness plus those chiquista bites. My hand was twice the size.
Yeah, that's right. You had the allergic reaction to the bugs. Okay.
So we go to return the Porsche, and you don't want to step foot inside of this building.
No,
so I'm taking care of returning. I'm like, returning. What this is the easy part. We pull up, and it's busy. It's like
everyone's returning the cars at the same time.
This is like the main strip. The rental car place is on.
But I think it's like the main strip of the city.
That's what I mean. The main strip of the city, and it's not like there's a parking lot. It's like just sort of pull up onto the curb or something, but yeah, and the left or the rightmost lane is one of those trolley tram things. I think it's on a track, so it's like you can't block that. So I pull down the alley, and the dude's like, "No, pull up here," and I'm like, "Okay, if you say so." So I pull up there, and he goes and he inspects the car, and everything's fine. And I go in to pay. Well,
no, but he like the way he was inspecting it, and he wanted specific paperwork. It was all like more complex than any car rental.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
It was really weird. The whole car rental experience was weird.
Yeah, it was very unpleasant car rental for this specific company, and we have rented with a specific company many times. And now we'll consider twice renting.
This is basically the only company that we have rented with in recent history. We always use them.
Yeah, and this was shit.
Yeah,
maybe we should say who it is.
Anyway. So I go in with the paper, and I hand it to them, and he looks at it. He must have seen the price that we paid, and then he saw that it was the Porsche Cayenne, which I think is a higher tier than we were supposed to get. And he goes, "Oh, you got the Porsche. Must be your lucky day." And I was just like, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That is a perfect
Must
ending.
be your lucky day.
Oh, that's a perfect ending.
Right?
Wow. It's good that you saved it until now.
Right. Said that.
It's our lucky day.
Right. At that time, it didn't feel like the right time to share that with you.
Right. No, it's been 2 weeks now.
Yeah, I forgot about that until we were talking about that. And I'm like, oh, let's wrap this up.
This is perfect. Yeah.
Must be your lucky day.
No, it took it right, but at the time it
took a week or two to realize that it was a lucky day.
Yeah. At the time, it didn't seem lucky.
No, it didn't seem lucky.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is a lot of times all the shit that happens to you in retrospect becomes more beautiful than ever.
Right.
Despite the long puking and crying and losing your wits end. I mean, suicide in Ecker's case, but in my case, it was just, there was nowhere to go. You're just at the end.
Yeah.
And I can now totally relate to that. Like you just have nowhere to go. And it's like on the retrospect, there's actually nothing there that is causing that big of an influx.
That's the thing is that, you look back and it's like, what made me feel like this? And it's like, because it's like, you almost can't put yourself back into that.
Well, it's lifelong suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's lifelong suffering.
But it's like, but it makes it so obvious that it's like, it isn't about the car. It isn't about this. It isn't about that. It's this, everything all at once.
No, it was everything that has been precipicing itself to this peak has basically precipiced itself, and it was right there, quite literally. And it was it. I was at really, literally my wit's end. I had nowhere to go. As I was stuck in our lucky Porsche Cayenne.
Lucky, must be your lucky day. It must have been your lucky day.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So more lucky days.
How'd you like the Porsche? It must have been your lucky day. Something like that.
Mm-mm.
But lucky day was definitely in it.
More lucky days to everyone.
Yeah. To lucky days.